commercial photography, has a great role called the gaffer. He is an excellent assistant to us photographers. So whether you are a gaffer or a professional photographer, you always carry an absolutely essential secret weapon: the light meter I am holding right now. Light meters come in different models. The ones most commonly seen on the market are the Sekonic 758D and the Sekonic 308S. I am holding one large, one small. Both share identical functions, and in practice their differences are minor. The only real distinction is that the larger one costs more and offers extra features. When you first look at these meters, you see a lot of buttons and they seem intimidating. We will therefore follow the vital few principle and ignore the controls we never use. I have pre-taped some of the buttons with masking tape, not because the unit is broken, but because those functions are unnecessary and can be accidentally pressed. So at this point I cover them up. And I do the same on the smaller meter. In fact, both units work perfectly. We simply focus on the essentials to operate them efficiently. To understand a light meter, think of it as a stopwatch. A stopwatch measures time, whereas a light meter measures light. During operation, we only need to master a few key buttons and know how to read the display. First is the power button. You must press and hold it for 2 seconds. With instruments like this, if it refuses to turn on, my advice is always to press and hold for 2 seconds. Many similar devices will power up that way. Besides the power switch, the next critical control is the mode button, labeled mode. Both meters provide it. Pressing it cycles among 3 modes, each represented by an icon: a sun, a lightning bolt, and a lightning bolt followed by a C. We must select the correct mode for the task. The sun icon is for continuous ambient light, for example, sunlight, and it works much like the metering built into a camera. The other 2 modes involve flash. The C variant requires a sync cord. The cord I am holding is that PC sync cord. It plugs into the circular socket on the front of the meter, and the other end connects to the strobe, allowing the meter to trigger the flash when I press the measuring button. In day-to-day work, however, the cord is cumbersome. So for greater convenience, we select the plain flash mode. When the lightning bolt icon is active, press the measuring button. The display begins to blink, indicating it is ready. Fire the flash manually. The meter instantly shows a reading, the luminance value under the current condition, and the measurement is complete. Therefore, using a meter is actually very straightforward. Now that I have explained these functions, let us look at how the result is displayed. After I press the flash button, the 2 largest numbers shown are aperture and shutter speed. Aperture changes with every measurement, while shutter speed is preset by us. The key parameter we must understand is aperture. The meter always displays aperture in full stops. For example, 5.6, f8, f11, f16, and so on. The device cannot show intermediate third stop values. If you look closely, you will notice a smaller numeral beside the aperture number. The difference is simply the size of the digits. How should we interpret this small numeral? The meter subdivides each full stop into 10 equal steps. Thus, if the reading is f11, the small numeral can range from 0 to 9. How do we map these tenths onto our camera's aperture scale so that our exposure is more accurate? This leads us to the beginner's method. When you still find F numbers hard to remember, simply round the small numeral to the nearest whole number. For example, if the meter shows 11.3, round it to f11 and shoot at that aperture. LifeLit shows 11.8. Move to the next full stop f16, and the exposure will still be acceptable. Next, let us discuss the advanced method. Modern cameras insert 1/3 stop increments between whole stops, for instance, between f16 and f22. You will also find f18 and f20. This adds memorization complexity. To achieve finer exposure control, we must map the meter's 10/10ths onto these 1/3 stops. We assign the meters 0 and 1 to the current full stop, 2, 3, 4 to the first third stop, 5, 6, 7 to the second third stop, and 8, 9 to the next full stop. Let me give a concrete example. If the meter reads F16.2, stay at 16.2. iFeet reads 16.3. Switch to F18 on your camera. iFeet reads 16.6. Use F20. iFeet reads 16.8. Select F22. By following this mapping, we can place the aperture exactly where the light requires. Using a light meter, first owning one, then using it, and finally using it precisely, is the leap that takes you from an amateur to a professional, and ultimately to a career photographer. The concepts we have just covered are admittedly demanding.